This stuff here, Yerushalmi Eruvin, article Osbar edition with Daf Lamed Alf, the third line down, Aser Rabbi Yehuda ben Nuri, which is in the Vilna on Daf Kaf Ches Amud Beis, the sixth line from the bottom. Aser Rabbi Yehuda ben Nuri, and the way we have it in the Gemara in front of us is very difficult to understand the Girsa. I'm going to go with the Girsa of the Leiden manuscript, and which is much more clear. And it's if you remember, we had the Shita of Rabbanan. If you fell asleep, you only get 4 amos. If you fall asleep, you get 2,000 amos. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, if you fall asleep, you give you more. You get to choose a side, and you get 4,000 amos on that side. Now, so according to this, the Girsa here should be, according to the Leiden manuscripts, like this: Asiyah the Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, for Ruba Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, and it's more than Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri because much better Kiddush, right? Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri Amar Echad Achash Ilu Er Konel Shvisa Ha'ir. Now, like it says in front of us, air, air. It says for us. It says by us. Air. So the way it is in the Leiden, in other words, if he was awake, then you could even say, you know what? Oh, I see a city in the offing in the distance. I want my shvisa to be in that city. And you get him 2,000 amos, another 2,000 amos towards the city. But since he's sleepy, he doesn't get that. He gets 2,000 amos around himself. He doesn't get to say, okay, my shvisa is in that city over here. So, again, so the way it would be is that the Rabbi Yochanan right? But you could even go to the city. But local shvisa, since wasn't awake, he didn't acquire shvisa. He only has 2,000 amos in each direction. You remember, if he was awake, if he was awake and didn't acquire shvisa in a city, he only gets 2,000 amos to each side. But now he's asleep. He has 4,000 amos in one direction. He can choose 4,000 amos. So Rabbi Yochanan says that since he's asleep, we can only give him 2,000 amos. Can't say he can go to a city. If he's awake, he could have said, "Oh, my shvisa is in that city over there." But since he was sleeping, he can only get 2,000 amos. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Even though he's sleeping, and he didn't say, "I get my shvisa in that city," he still gets 4,000 amos in whatever direction he chooses. There's only one direction. It's not 2,000 amos, 4,000 amos all around, but he gets one direction to 4,000 amos. Okay? So now we go on. Rabbi Chuna Amar of Nachman, Bar Yaakov Boy. Rabbi Chuna said, Rabbi Nachman Bar Yaakov asked, Ger Shetoval, a ger went to the mikveh, L'achasher Yisrach, after sunrise. So, Me'achash Ilu Haya, the Reb Chaim changed to ger. So this is an interesting case. This ger only became Jewish on Shabbos. He went to the mikveh Shabbos morning. Okay, whether you're allowed to ger on Shabbos or not is a good question. But Shari Korban says, "Kasav asmag v'shem al bahag magbilan ger b'Shabbos yontif." V'shulchan aruch stim reish tamches kas neim magbilan so b'yontif ayin shab. V'kam mashum magbilan moso b'Shabbos. Yerushalmi says you can't be toivel ger on Shabbos. Okay. It's difficult to say that we're talking about a case where he was over and went to the mikveh that he was supposed to be in Basin. How could Basin make such a mistake? So it sounds like for Yerushalmi that you can do actually like the smag, they can finish the geras with tefillah on Shabbos. Okay, so he went to the mikveh after sunrise. Okay, of course. So against the Ma'aser Basin has to be done during the daytime. Can't go at night. So, but it were ger the night before, right? Chilia ger hayakon shvisa. He would have required shvisa Friday night. So Ma Omar, what's the story in this case? We went to the mikveh Shabbos morning. So yeah, that's good. I just changed it to Ma Omar Ba. The Karmei leaves it says Karmei look Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri olo. So I guess it's easier to change it to Ma Omar Ba Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Shmini Ador. Let's start over here. The Mari Yitzchak ben Achmed Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Halach Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Now that's very nice, but it doesn't seem to answer the question because okay, let's say Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, but what does that do with the ger? So the Yerushalmi Eruvin wants to say there's a line missing here. Uh, the Orsa Meach and Perek of Zayin of Hilchos Shabbos was astounded. What's the question? What's the stuff of the Yerushalmi? By the ger, the time when he tables, that's when his Shabbos begins. He didn't have a Shabbos night before that should be acquire his shvisa. So therefore, he should acquire it now, based on his kavanah now. Chaim also learns there's a line missing, and that there is no evidence, no resolution to the question of the ger. And this is a new question here, as Ibn says, halacha kaman. Halacha is like whom? So, and the Gemara says that halacha is from. We just see that the halacha is like Yochanan ben Nuri. Okay, Bilam Ibaydiyaim. If he chooses from Ibaydiyaim, which is going to be his direction for his Erev Tchumin, Chayzim Bar he can renege Ibaydiyaim. If he chooses Mishachashecha, Chayzim Mishachashecha, he can renege after Chashecha. So the unfortunately have very great difficulty. The Arsamech has a long discussion of how it's possible for him to be a Avara after darkness. But according to what we learned Pshat Rabbi Yehuda, the Yerushalmi Eruvin explains that according to Rabbi Yehuda, he says he get 4,000 amas because he fell asleep. So there's additional 2,000 amas we give you to after you wake up to determine, and you can renege even Mishachashecha. So you can choose, and the renege, I guess as long as you haven't actually gone those 2,000 additional amas, you can choose to which direction you get those additional 2,000 amas, even Mishachashecha, once you wake up. Okay, what if you chose from before the day began and then Shabbos began? Let's out from here. So it's very difficult. What exactly Gemara's question is? Well, obviously, we just said you can't change your mind. So evidently, Yerushalmi is here to talk about also when he fell asleep. So Imir was Bayom, and he fell asleep. Can he change his mind now? So he fell asleep during the time of Ben Hashmashas. So Shmini Me'adah. Let's start out from here. It says that somebody who was the previous mission said, "Mishiyasha b'derech b'amad v'arei u'samach lir v'leisakar rasol kach lo yikones and meir either meir yikones." So the over there says that it's machlokes and meir Rabbi Yehuda. So according to meir, that's it. You're stuck with whatever you chose before Shabbos began. Even when you fell asleep, according to Rabbi Yehuda, no, you can change your mind. You fell asleep, you wake up, you can change your mind. So, but that's difficult. It's difficult to say that because the end of Halacha Hey in the Mishnah said so there's the Gemara says, you know what? You're right. Once he chose to be by Yom, fell asleep, doesn't erase his choice. He's Mevar. So the rather going on, our question is on the beginning of the parak. Allah Damra El Areish the Pirka. It's going to the beginning of the parak. It says Mishitzio Akum, a Ruach Ra. And somebody who was removed from by Naju or Ruach Ra from his Tchum. Isamres Allah. So on that, it says Amrei Bun Mod Rabbi Yushim Bir Losh Ani Yachal Lachsabo. That Rabbi Yehuda on that Rabbi Yehuda says that if you're Mavara, you can't be Chayzer. So Yechonami said in Bir Ani Yachal Lachsabo, it's not talking about a case where you fall asleep. From before Shabbos, and then Shabbos began while you were asleep. Then you can be chayzer, according to Rabbi Yehuda. But Rabbi Yehuda said, it's not going on our Mishnah. It's going back to the first Mishnah, saying what the guy who was taken out and he chose 4 amos, right? Which way he can go from where he is now, which that's all he gets outside the Chum. And that Rabbi Yehuda said, that's it. That whatever he chooses, he chooses. Halacha Bav. Hayushnayim. He said Moisav shows that you had 2 people, and they overlapped. Karmei says they overlap 2 amos in the middle. Mevim v'ochlim be'emtza. They can bring and eat in the middle where they overlap. As long as one does not move from that which is his 4 amos into area which is exclusively his friends. If there are 3 people, I'm sorry, muvla ben asayim, and the middle guy is muvla is absorbing the 2 of them. In other words, says the karmeda based on myself so shows that based on myself shows that 2 amos overlapping the guy on the right, 2 amos the guy on the left. So who mutar man? He's mutar with them, both of them. Pay mutar mother and mutar with him. The 2 outer ones assume them are forbidden with each other. Shimon says, what's analogous? The Shalosh Chatzeros to 3 courtyards. Psuchos Zulazu, which are open with each other. Psuchos Yisrael open to Rosh Hashanah as well. Irbu Shteim Tzais, if they both, 2 of them may over the middle one. He mutar siman, they mutar simah. That's mutar with them, and they're mutar with it. Shteim Tzais, Asur Zum Zu, and the 2 outer ones are also with each other. So the case has there's a picture of the last case of all the cases, but the last case in the article over here, the 3 chatzeros over here, psuchos to each other, psuchos to Shusarabim, and the article brings down there from the Bavli that the Bavli asks why would Rabbi Shimon need to make this parallel, and because the answer is because that halacha is 3 chatzeros is not agreed to by everybody. I'm arguing that Rabbi Shimon holds that the 3 chatzeros are each other because we're afraid that they're going to come, if we allow them to carry with each other, they're going to, where they all 3 can make an eruv together, they're going to carry also to the outer courtyard. In other words, each of them will carry to the 3rd courtyard, which is also to it. Each is put only to the middle courtyard to each of the ends. We're afraid they're going to carry to the outer ones. So Rabbi Shimon says, so I understand. Over here, you agree with me. Over here, you agree that they're both mutter with the middle one, and you don't have a problem. Why over there do you all disagree with me and say that that you're not going to allow them both outer ones with the inner one, middle one? So the Bavli says that that Chachamim hold that where there are many people, because the Chatzeros are packed by multiple people, we're afraid that some people are going to forget. They're not going to be careful. And whereas when there's precisely 3 people, they'll remember. And this is a unique situation. And they'll make sure not to carry into area where they're not allowed to carry. So the Gemara here, according to most Mefarshim, has to do with the next halacha Zayin. It's kind of out of place. But according to the Karban Eda, who changed the gear, so it is relevant here. Most of the Mefarshim explicitly say that they don't like the Karban Eda, but let's see the Karban Eda who changed the gear. So I can see an Api Rabbeinu ben Tuginus, Plag Rabbanim Bibura Yoros, in the arguments where we make Iburim, which is the extension of cities for Tchum purposes, Modu Bahacha Ba'amos. Here concedes Ba'amos. The Alpaim Amos Tchum Shabbos Agulos, the 2,000 Amos of Tchum Shabbos is round, Rubos. Modahacho, he clearly concedes without Amos, the 4 Amos of these individuals, Shein Rubos. And therefore, you really get not just 4 Amos, but you get the 5 Amos and 3 Chumashin if you do on the angles. So, but most of the Mefarshim point out, the article notes, and the Medrash Rabbah, it seems that he doesn't hold that way. It says that Rabbi Chaim Medino's Daka holds that 4 Amos are round. So, that change of gears is not going to do any good. So, they learn like he's going on the they learn it's going on the next Mishnah, and like maybe Moshe says, Afka b'chim niglos polik arabona masnisin b'midos amos apayim modacha b'bura yoros. And again, the next Mishnah, Kanam Reish Pek the Kamish Osim Masel Kamin Tavla Merubas, that the even though 2,000 amos are round, nevertheless the bura yoros we make like a when we get to it, we'll find out about that. There's a picture in the article that we do square it off. The picture in the article is I don't know if it's particularly enlightening. Yeah, let's just leave it. Okay, so the again, the Tchum Shabbos round Iburim, we square off the city, and we'll come to that as I said in the future. Misha Ba, the halacha zayin. Misha Ba Baderech he was coming along the road, Yari Shematechshach, and he was afraid they're going to get dark, and he's going to stuck over here. Makir, Elon or God there, and he sees a tree or a fence in the distance. Shvisasi Tachtov, and he says, my Shvisa in the should be there. So Carbonate says, Vubasofa Paim Mokam Raglov, May Elon Lebesa Paim says, there's 2,000 amos to the tree. No 2,000 amos to my house. I want my shvisa to be from that to in that tree, right? So I should be able to go there, and from there to my house. Lo amaklum. He didn't say anything. Why? So it says because he wasn't assigned a place of 4 amos. He should be able to get the shvisa there. Okay, so the coordinator adds, "I rate sheesh tachas ilan shmar amos yosel ledina ayim makom shvisa." So the tree is more than as underneath its foliage more than 4 amos. It wasn't messiah. Bikaro, if he says at the root of the tree, at the base of the tree, so he's messiah makom. He made a specific place. Makom ragav adikaro abayim amos. They didn't go from where he is now to the base of the tree, 2,000 amos. Make a base from the root of from the base of the tree to his house, 2,000 amos. It goes from the time it got dark, 4,000 amos. Makir, if he doesn't know, see a place 2,000 amos away, which he can use, or in a baki ba'alocha, he doesn't know this halacha, that he can choose a place 2,000 amos away. From my shvisas and he says my shvis should be here in my place. Zochel mekom alpayim amelcha ruach agulos. He has 2,000 amos around the place in himself in a circle. Like we said, and over we said this before in the Gemara, 2,000 amos around. V'chamim mubos. We argue. They say he gets a square. Ketavlu mubas. It's right there because so we can get the corners. He actually gets on the corners additional 800 amos. I think we'll have a picture here somewhere. Yeah, the Pirush Chari, the Chinim Antigonus holds like this. You get 2,000 amos round. We hold like he gets the Tavlu mubas so we can get the olives at the corners. There's going to be additional 800 amos, 400 on each side, I believe. Yeah, so he gets those additional, all that additional area which he has, he gets in the corners. No, it's 800 amos. It's a better picture, a good picture of the article. 800 amos on each corner. Sorry. 2,000 amos if you went across the round, and that's Yerushalmi Eruvin, and 2,800, which is the hypotenuse of this triangle, because Amsa Bribua, Amsa Trechum Shabalachsena, so you get additional 800 amos on the corners. So these corners are, we have to make the tablet in north, south, east, west. You can't just make the tablet any way you want. The tablet goes according to the Ruchos Ha'olam. Okay, says the Gemara. Two people were talking together. One could see the tree. One can't see the tree. Needs glasses. Or somebody has binoculars. Doesn't have binoculars. He who can see it can walk with the one who doesn't can't see it. And the one who can't see it walks to the person who can. So Korban says, in other words, it means to say that we go by the person who can see it, and he can maybe create a shvisa on both of the halves at that distance. And we will reach the bottom of the Amud, so we'll top of the next Amud. So stop here for today.